Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Celtic go to Dingwall, they get all 3 points, they reinstate that 8-point lead at the top of the table. Actually, we've never had an 8-point lead this season, have we? It was 7. So we're actually better off. Yeah, there might be a game in hand there somewhere, but Celtic are 8 points clear at the top of the table after a 3-0 win against Ross County this afternoon. A fantastic performance from Brendan Rodgers' side, despite some dodgy decisions in the game. So let's talk about that. Ultimately, very, very happy. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated as we try and get towards 50,000 subscribers. I told you, just calm down. A little bit of nerve is all we needed. Things are fine. Things are still great. And Celtic today putting out a performance that can put those doubters and those kind of bits of anxiety to the side. You know? We don't need any of that. We're in good hands. We're doing absolutely fine. A fantastic performance from start to finish today from Celtic in what was a tough game. Even, you know, playing against 10 men for the majority of this afternoon's game made it even harder. You know, you saw how many bodies Ross County had. It always is a difficult test when you're playing against 10 men. Despite what you think, it's always hard. And Celtic had to deal with a lot of issues today. I mean, it was 3-0. It could have been 10. I mean, God, Laidlaw has put out the performance of a lifetime there. What a performance from the Ross County goalkeeper. Could have been 8, 9, 10, 11 goals for Celtic. We were really, really unlucky. Some fantastic saves. He became Manuel Neuer this afternoon, Ross Laidlaw. However, we found the 3 goals. We found the 3 points. That's the most important thing. And I'm just, as I said, incredibly happy with the performance from start to finish. So we're going to talk about that. However, I just want to get all the main talking points out the way so I don't need to go over them again because I can't really be bothered. I hate having to speak about referees and decisions, but it has to be done because there's some glaring mistakes in this game that have to be spoke about. The first major decision was the red card, which he got spot on. Now, I don't know why Yang was then booed 10 minutes later when he was on the ball by the Ross County support, because it is a definite red card. That's a potential ankle breaker. You see the way he comes in, the tackle's above the ankle, studs are showing. There's no doubt about it, it's a red card. I'm glad that that was rectified via VAR. The only good use of VAR this afternoon, may I add, but I'm glad that that decision was at least made. As I said, it did turn the game around a little bit, made it a bit harder to break Ross County down as they just kind of loaded every one of their players into that. I mean, the park is tight enough. You know, this is one of the smallest pitches in the league. It's really difficult to expand your play and do what we normally do on this surface, let alone when Ross County have 10 men crammed all together. You know, it made it really hard for Celtic. We had to find a way around that. And we did do that. However, we've got to talk about some of the poorer decisions by the officials in this game. Ones that really don't make an awful lot of sense. The offside goal. This right here. Was it offside? Was it not? At the time, I was like, okay, I'm willing to accept it's offside, right? I was like, hands in the air. I was like, okay, he's marginally offside, but he's offside. However, at half-time, in the Sky Sports studio and all over social media, everybody was quick to point out that the frame that they used to confirm the offside call was after the ball was struck for the pass. That is a huge error. That isn't just a wee mistake. That isn't the referee making a wee tiny error. No, that's huge. Listen, we still won the game. There's no point in getting too heavy with it. But another day, you know, we might not have found a goal. We could have finished 0-0 there this afternoon when we had a perfectly good goal chopped off. And I feel really bad for O because he played so well today. And a goal that I think he, on further examination, looks as though should have stood, was perfectly fine. He doesn't go away with that this afternoon. Would have done wonders for his confidence. And it's been chopped off. I'd like to see everybody else's opinion to it. But the ball's been struck and then they use that frame there. That's shocking. Of course, you can't talk about these things without, you know, being accused of believing in conspiracies. That seems to be the cool thing to do nowadays. But you cannot deny, and it can't be stressed enough, how massive an error that is from the officials. Whether it be the referee, the people in the VAR room, the offside, the linesman, whoever. That's terrible. Shocking officiating from start to finish. And that was only one of the poorer calls. I'm hoping I can find the photos to use while I'm editing this, but this was another one. This one here, the shut pull, which I've never been one to scream and shout about shirt pulls, but it's not in the law of the game that it's a foul. And someone was quick to point out that Rangers were given a penalty for the exact same thing not too long ago. Connor Goldson, his shirt was pulled off. Penalty Rangers. The shirt is barely on O here in this photo if it's on screen. Nothing given. And it's not the decision itself that annoys me at this point. I'm not complaining about the referee not giving a penalty. That's fine. It's the consistency. The whole point in having an officiating body, the SFA, referees, it's not, a referee doesn't pick and choose the rules as he likes it. It's as the entire body sees it. Not different referees with different decisions. No, that's not how it works. Everybody should be following the same rules and the same consistency. And here, that's not been done when the shirt is getting pulled off O's body. Should have been a penalty to Celtic if any prior decisions this season are to go by. So, some dodgy decisions from the referee over the course of this game. But that doesn't stop Celtic. It didn't hold us back. We were brilliant. For Brendan Rodgers making 6 changes going into this game, there was a lot of people who were pretty confused and anxious about that, whether or not it was the right idea. Was it bold of Brendan? Yeah, it definitely was. It was bold of Brendan, but you've got to remember the run of fixtures we're about to go into here. We've got a huge amount of games, some against the likes of Atletico Madrid, Lazio. These are times where we need to chop and change players. We need to give rests out if a player feels like they need it. So 6 changes, yeah, is bold. And going into the game, you can be thinking to yourself, this might come back and bite us. But from the minute that first whistle went, I thought we were absolutely brilliant today. In that first half, we had total control. We were attacking the game. I think that we gave up on what we were doing on Wednesday night, where a lot of it was Nat Phillips to Scales to Nat Phillips, over to the fullback, back to Nat Phillips. We kind of gave up on that. We were all about going forward, and then when we were in those wider areas, our final product was actually quite decent. We should have, as I said, had more goals than 3 today, but the delivery was fantastic. The balls from out wide, from Maida, from Yang in the first half, getting balls in. We were asking questions of the opposition. The defenders had to deal with it. Look how many corners we had in the game. And for once, our corners were pretty good, weren't they? Today, David Turnbull, credit to him, had a brilliant game. But every single one of his deliveries were absolutely fantastic from the corners. We asked a lot of questions. We got on the end of them. Sadly, we didn't score from any of them. But a massive step in the right direction and a massive improvement on what we have been seeing, not only in recent weeks, but in recent years. Some of the best corners that I've seen as a Celtic fan recently. We were asking a lot of questions. We were pressing high. And even when we had to face that 10-men Ross County, who had just camped behind the ball and made it extremely difficult, we stretched them out. And we were bringing players so high up the park. You've seen Liam Scales and Cameron Carter-Vickers today. They were pushing right up to the edge of the box. And Ross County weren't meeting that with anything. They weren't attempting counter-attacks. They didn't have the quality to challenge our players. We just kept total control. We kept ahead. And that was one of the most important things, to just allow the game to stay calm and keep our wits about us. Rather than letting time tick away at 0-0 and maybe getting a bit desperate. No, we took our time with it. And then we finally got the reward. David Turnbull put us ahead right on the stroke of half-time, literally 10 seconds before the whistle was due to go, with another outside-the-box goal, another long ranger from our Davy, who, I'm telling you, he's controlled by AI or something. There's no way that any player can have such a success rate from outside the area, and it's replicated every time. It's a replica of each goal. Just bang that sweet spot in the bottom corner. He drills it low and hard. Goalkeeper's rooted to the ground. They never stand a chance. He's just got such an eye for it, and he knows when to hit it. I thought David Turnbull had a really good game today. For all the negatives that David Turnbull gets, criticised for, maybe being a bit too slow, maybe being a bit too negative, not moving, I thought he really upped that today. I thought he had a lot of good movement, and obviously he was really important in helping draw out that low block, taking a shot every now and then, even if it's blocked. Ask a question, make them move, make them react, rather than passing it around and letting them stay in that low block, in that line, just sort of keeping us out. If you force a shot, you're forcing them to react, you're forcing somebody to be drawn out. to maybe try and recover a ball, and that allows a bit of space to open up. David Turnbull was really important today in helping do that, and his goal before half-time ultimately unlocked the game for us. So it's another huge goal from David Turnbull, and he deserves the credit for his performance today. Second half, once again, total control, and even though the first kind of 20-30 minutes of the second half were a bit quiet, you know, there was no goals scored, there was never an ounce of worry in my mind. I thought that Celtic would see out the game, whether it be 1-0 or 3-0 as it finished. It was always going to be a win for Celtic. There was not a moment in that game where Ross County looked threatening at all. I think they were really happy just trying to keep that 1-0 with 10 men on the park. So Brendan Rodgers did look to the bench. He looked to find his options and try and maybe get a couple more goals. Made a lot of substitutions, a lot of good substitutions, I must say. Odin Thiago Holm, who I thought looked good again coming on the park. Luis Palma, who we're going to get on to, of course. James Forrest, who we'll get on to, of course. Another couple of players coming on here. Kyogo, of course, who brought another element to the attacking line. Really good substitutions, and that brought a new energy into the Celtic side to go and find those goals to seal all 3 points. And that started with Luis Palma's, which is a crack, a toe tapper goal of the afternoon. And we scored 3 good goals, but Luis Palma's, for me, what a special talent Luis Palma is, by the way, and we are so lucky that we have signed him. Love him to bits, quickly becoming one of my favourite players in the Celtic side. That is a delicious finish. That is top tier. That is, yeah. I've run out of superlatives to describe it. It's just a special talent. You know, the precision in that, the technique in that. He offers so much. And obviously he's done that kind of through the middle of the park when he's a winger. It shows you that he can be implemented further in, more narrow if you need him there. But it's a brilliant finish. And what a start to his Celtic career he's had, by the way. You know, for someone who a lot of people were really quick to jump on the back of because they didn't think he was the suitable Jota replacement, to now being one of our, you know, key attacking players, it's huge. And he's going to have a big game. He's going to be a big part of our game on Wednesday night. Hopefully does have a big game. And that hopefully puts the confidence in him to go and do the same maybe in Madrid this week. It was made official with James Forrest scoring the 3rd goal, and wow, he keeps up that fantastic record for Celtic. Someone who we do give a lot of stick, someone who we do question should be still getting games for Celtic. You know, 15 straight seasons is that he's scored now, Forrest, so you've got to give him a bit of credit there. You know, no matter what your opinion is of James Forrest and whether he should be playing or no, that's a fantastic achievement. And it's a good goal from him, getting ahead. I mean, he's not the biggest guy in the park, but to get the head on it, put it in the back of the net, and get all 3 points, that's huge. And he's restoring, you know, I don't want to use the word restoring, but he's kind of rewarding the manager, isn't he? Because Brendan Rodgers has obviously kept some faith in James Forrest, and obviously knows that he's got something to give. And James Forrest is making sure that he gives the best back from that. So, yeah, 3 good goals, solid first half, solid second half. Just a typical Brendan Rodgers performance. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there because I've just ranted and yap. We will probably dig a little bit deeper into this tomorrow if we have time. If we don't, remember, I'll be away to Madrid. So, but I'll still be making videos, don't worry. I'll still be here. But we'll talk all about that maybe tomorrow in a live stream or such. So keep an eye out on the channel. Thank you for watching the video. If you've enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know all your thoughts on the game in the comments below. But 3-0, happy days. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday because that's a good way to kick it off. I'll see you all next time.